Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Thor Odinson. Now he made his very first appearance in a comic book named Venus, issue number 11, that was released in July 1950. Although his first full appearance in the Silver Age was in Journey into Mystery, issue number 83, that was released in June 1962. Now, Thor has had many different aliases over the years, although his most well-known alias of Donald Blake was used during an initial period where he blended in with humanity. Thor is an imposing figure, being the champion of the Asgardian race, standing 6 feet 6 inches tall and weighing 640 pounds, with blue eyes and blonde hair. Being known as the god of thunder, Thor not only controls the weather and lightning, but is also commonly known as the Asgardian god of strength, arguably being the strongest of all Asgardians, other than maybe his father Odin, and a son he has in an alternate reality that goes by the name Mani, who happens to be that reality's god of strength. Either way, Thor has vast superhuman strength, being able to lift well over 100 tons, and there are very few beings that have bested him in battle, being able to defeat or hold his own one-on-one with some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, such as Hercules, the Hulk, and Silver Surfer. He also has countless feats over the years to support his strength, being able to break supposedly unbreakable adamantium alloy cables and unintentionally destroy planets that he was fighting on. Thor also has moderate superhuman speed on foot, although he can fly at Mach 32 when holding on to his enchanted hammer Mjolnir. However, it's a little known fact that Thor can fly without using his hammer, being able to levitate and fly using the wind, similar to how the mutant Storm does. The Odinson also has near invulnerability, having vast durability that makes him nearly impossible to injure. He also has vast stamina, being able to maximally exert himself for literally years at a time. Now, this is not to mention that when he's wearing his belt of strength, it doubles his base stamina and strength. And to be even more detailed about his power levels, when he's in this state called the Warrior's Madness, his strength and stamina increases tenfold. Although this condition is strictly forbidden according to Odin's law, due to it basically putting Asgardians in an unstoppable and unreasoning berserker rage. To go on, Thor can manipulate vast quantities of energy as well, being able to channel planetary and even cosmic storms through his body and his hammer. Doing this, he can generate energy blasts that are powerful enough to even kill immortals. Thor also has vast superhuman senses, actually being able to see things as far away as the edge of the solar system and hear cries from the other side of a planet. And although just like all the Asgardians, Thor can live for thousands and thousands of years, he's not truly immortal, and he can be injured, despite having a moderate healing factor that will heal him up quickly anyway. And if all of these natural abilities weren't enough, at various times Thor has taken on the Odin Force, making it the Thor Force, which allows him to tap into the deepest depths of the cosmic and mystical energies of the Asgardian Allfather. This alone gives him the unimaginable power of his father Odin and his uncles Vili and Vi combined with his own power. This has even led to him attaining a state of power that's beyond almost anything in the Marvel Universe, when he's attained the power of ancient hidden runes to become Rune King Thor. Now, it should also be considered that Thor is a master combatant and strategist, being highly trained in multiple arts of war and having thousands of years to perfect unarmed and armed combat. And of course, his trademark weapon is the Mjolnir warhammer, which was mystically imbued and forged from the powerful Uru metal. Now, I won't even go into all of the details and abilities of this weapon, other than dropping a few gems like it only being able to be lifted by those that are deemed worthy, and it giving its wielder the ability to teleport, generate and control cosmic energies, and even manipulate matter on a molecular level. So yeah, Thor is definitely someone you want on your team. Now, from long ago, Thor was a powerful being that received worship from the ancient Norse Vikings. He was known as the son of Odin, the Allfather and king of Asgard, and his mother was originally said to be Jord, aka Gaea, the earth goddess. Although more recently it's been shown that Odin supposedly lied about this, and that his real birth mother was a powerful ancient mutant known as Firehair, who served as the first earthly avatar to the Phoenix Force. Regardless of this, Thor was always raised by Odin's wife, Freya, who Thor loved and always considered to be his mother anyway. As the young Thor grew into his own, he was groomed to one day take his father's throne, despite running around and having multiple adventures with his best friend Balder and his first love, Sif. But his half-brother Loki couldn't stand him, and he constantly schemed to become the ruler of Asgard himself. But when Thor finally proved himself worthy of carrying the hammer Mjolnir, he took up the identity of the Thunder God, regularly visiting his earthly worshippers throughout the 9th century and leading them into battle on multiple occasions. Although he would later abandon his followers after several of them butchered members of a Christian monastery. Over the following centuries, he would spend a lot of his time between Asgard and Earth, often battling his troublemaking brother and sometimes being young and impetuous himself. So it would come as no surprise that one day, seeing that his son needed to learn humility before becoming the Allfather, Odin exiled Thor to Earth and made him live as the mortal human doctor Donald Blake, who himself would only regain the powers and memories of his life on Asgard when he struck his wooden cane, which was actually Mjolnir in disguise, and would temporarily become Thor again. During this time, he would take on many different threats, including beings like Radioactive Man, Absorbing Man, and even the Hulk, although his conflicts with the Green Goliath were just due to his brother Loki's schemings. But eventually these schemes would backfire, and it would only succeed in uniting a group of heroes that would become known as the Avengers, Thor actually being a founding member of the team, fighting alongside heroes like Captain America, Iron Man, and Hercules. Thor would even come into contact with one of the very first beings to beat him in one-on-one combat, which was the alien Beta Ray Bill, whose strength and integrity would impress Odin so much that he would eventually have a new hammer forged for him known as Stormbreaker, with Bill and Thor then going on to be friends. Now, much later we would see the events that led to the end of Asgard, known as Ragnarok, begin with the true death of Odin, who was killed while battling the powerful being known as Surtur. This is the first time Thor would become the ruler of Asgard and become empowered with the mystical Odin force. However, he would also want to take a more direct role over earthly affairs and move Asgard to Earth and transform the planet into a dictatorship. However, after 200 years of this, he would realize the error of his ways and unwind the previous 2 centuries through time travel. But of course, Loki would once again be there to cause trouble, enlisting Surtur to forge new weapons that were comparable to the power of Mjolnir, and rally his followers to conquer Asgard. But Thor, realizing that Loki's actions were actually a prelude to the final battle of Ragnarok, would cause the Thunder God to embark on a journey where he would uncover the truth of the Ragnarok cycle, and its endless loop of destruction and recreation that had been orchestrated by the godlike beings known as those who sit above in shadow. Thor, now knowing that they were doing this just for their amusement, and him being unwilling to let his people endure this dishonor for any longer, Thor would acquire the immense power that gave him the title Rune King Thor, and would literally unravel the reality of Asgard's dimension, wiping himself and Asgard from existence. However, this wouldn't quite be the end, because later in the void of the afterlife, Thor would reunite with his old alter ego Donald Blake and return to Earth, then rebuilding Asgard on an island floating in the sky above Oklahoma, and setting out to find other gods who now lived unknowingly as mortals, and restore them to their original selves. From here, Thor would go on to have many different adventures, quite often doing epic battle with some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, many of which were his own family, including his uncle, Cul Borson, aka the Serpent, and his powerful grandfather, Bor Burison, not to mention taking on other beings that basically no one could handle, such as Gorr the God Butcher, Galactus the Devourer of Worlds, and the purely evil former side of the Sentry known as the Void. So yeah, like I said earlier, Thor is definitely someone you do want on your team. Now, due to his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Thor Odinson a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.